Welcome to Mariners Fan Central.
This just happened, and it has a direct impact on the Mariners' trade deadline plans. Our right-handed bench bat has landed on the injured list, and the team's immediate response was to call up another player to fill the role. But if you've been following Seattle, you know this isn't the first time we found ourselves stuck in that gray area, where everything looks fine on paper, but the real problem never gets solved. I need to show you just how far this could go. There's a lot happening, so stick with me until the end. And while you're here, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Mariners Fan Central, and turn on notifications so you never miss any news about our team. You know that feeling when you replace one part on your car, only to find out 2 weeks later that the entire engine needed to be replaced? That's exactly what's happening inside the Mariners clubhouse right now. Behind the scenes at T-Mobile Park, nobody was surprised. Refsnyder had been limping slightly before games, putting in extra mobility work with the medical staff, trying to squeeze out a few more days before the inevitable. The front office knew, his teammates knew, and yet his name stayed in the starting lineup against left-handed pitching game after game, even as the discomfort in both knees kept getting worse. It wasn't until the pain went from manageable to unbearable that the front office finally made the call. Buddy Kennedy was already packed and ready in Tacoma. The question nobody in Seattle wanted to ask out loud finally had to be answered. Now imagine this isn't just about a pair of sore knees. Imagine this injury has exposed a hole in the roster that the Mariners front office has been trying to patch with duct tape for weeks. If that's the case, Mariners faithful, the upcoming trade deadline stops being about adding pieces and starts being about fixing a problem. And that's a completely different conversation. Here's what I think is really happening. I don't believe for a single second that this decision was made overnight. I've been hearing from people around the organization for weeks, and Refsnyder's name had already been coming up in conversations about his knee workload since the end of last month. What bothers me isn't the injury itself. Injuries happen. They're part of baseball. What bothers me is how long they waited. Seattle knew they had a problem with right-handed production and chose to wait. They chose to hope things would improve. And as someone who's been rooting for this team for more than 2 decades of frustration, I know this pattern when I see it. Push the difficult decision down the road until it becomes an emergency. Here's the full picture. Rob Refsnyder, 30 years old, has officially been placed on the 10-day injured list with discomfort in both knees. In an immediate response, Seattle promoted Buddy Kennedy to the Major League roster, giving the club another right-handed option. But that's far from the only headache in the Mariners medical department right now. Luke Raley is still dealing with a strained left forearm, while Dominic Canzone remains sidelined with a thigh injury. 3 position players, 3 separate injury reports, all within the same stretch of the schedule. Historically, Refsnyder was brought to Seattle to solve one very specific problem. Give the Mariners a dependable right-handed hitter against left-handed pitching, while strengthening a bench that had been viewed as one of the club's biggest weaknesses since the beginning of the season. If his knee condition doesn't respond quickly to treatment, there's a very real possibility he'll be transferred to the 60-day injured list, which would automatically open a spot on the 40-man roster. And Mariners faithful, that changes the entire equation heading into what's next. From my perspective, here's what's about to happen inside those meeting rooms in Seattle. As unfortunate as this injury is for Refsnyder personally, I actually think it gives the front office the cover it needed to make a move. Before this, trading for or signing a legitimate right-handed bat felt optional. Now, with 3 position players on the injured list at the same time, it feels necessary. I wouldn't be surprised if, over the next few weeks, Seattle starts getting linked to available right-handed hitters who can actually solve this problem instead of simply covering it up for a month. The risk, and I want to be honest with you here, is that the Mariners fall into the same trap they've fallen into before, choosing the cheapest, safest option on paper, and once again delaying the difficult decision until the next trade deadline. And that's exactly why Mariners fans are feeling anxious right now. You've seen this story before. The question is whether this time will be different. Let me know in the comments. Do you trust the front office to act quickly, or is this just another chapter in the same frustrating story? Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, because this story is only getting started.